Hey guys, welcome to HR with Sanchita. Today the topic is Theories of Leadership Part 1. So I would be covering leadership in two parts, that is part 1 and part 2. So motivation I've already covered, so you can go to my previous videos. And yes, like, share and subscribe to my channel so that you can keep on watching my videos, which will really help you in cracking UGC net, right? And yes, follow my Telegram channel as well, because there I post all the details, right, related to all my classes over various platforms. So you can follow my channel, link to which I have pinned in the comments. Okay, now let's proceed. So let's see the meaning of leadership. So it is influencing the behavior of others to work efficiently and effectively in order to achieve their goals. For example, if you are a leader and you are given a team of 5 people, then your focus would be to influence their behavior so that they can perform effectively and efficiently to achieve the goals. Okay, and what you'll do is you will channelize their energy towards the common goal, vision or objective of the groups. So what you will do is, of all the people, all the 5 people, you'll focus on them first of all and influence their behavior towards the goal, and you would channelize the energy, whatever energy they have, you would just channelize the energy towards the achievement of goal, vision or the objective you're given. So this is leadership. So it is a result of relationship between the leader and the followers. So those 5 people, okay, they would be your followers and you would be the leader. And what does a leader do? A leader directs the efforts of individuals in the right direction. So see, I told you, if you are directing the efforts of the group towards the goal, then obviously goals and objectives and visions of the group are the right direction for you, and it helps followers in achieving their goals. So if you'll have a good leader, right, if you have a very good leader, then what, you'll achieve your goals properly because the leader would guide you, influence you. Okay, so this is the meaning of leadership. So the theories I would be teaching you in this course are great man theory, trait theory, contingency theory, participative theories, situational theory, behavioral theories, transactional theories, transformational theories and charismatic leadership theories. So all these theories I would be teaching you. Okay, so first of all, today what we would be doing in this video is great man theory, okay, and trait theory, right, and behavioral theories we would be doing, right? So let's proceed. So great man theory, great man. So you can see, just see the keyword here, man, great. So here the notion is that great leaders are born, not made. Okay, and Thomas Carroll was the propounder. So he has given this theory. So according to this theory, good leaders are born with distinguishing qualities and characteristics that make them born leaders. So here it is, the notion is that good leaders are born, they are not made, right? So when they are born, they already have those qualities to be a good leader in future, right, according to this theory. So they have different qualities, different and unique characteristics that make them good leaders and born leaders, right? And examples of these characteristics that make these people good leaders are charisma, intelligence, confidence. So charisma, everyone gets influenced with them, right? They have that charisma in them, right? Everyone follows them, gets attracted towards their personality. So that is charisma. And they have intelligence, they have confidence, right? So leadership is inherent in such people. Okay, so they are not given any training of these traits. Okay, so it is inherent when they are born in such people. So this is great man theory. And here I told you the term man is the key word. So why the term man was used at that time? So why isn't it great women theory? Because women also can have innate characteristics, inherent characteristics, right? So here it is used man because this is a very old theory, and at that time it was used in context of military leadership, and in military mostly male used to work. Okay, so that is why the term man was used at that time, because leadership was a quality related to male in relation to military leadership, and that is why it faced criticism, because it had a male centric approach. Because great man, why not great women? Okay, so this is it, great man theory. So now comes the trait theory. So Ralph M. Stockdale is the propounder of the theory. So it is also somewhat similar to the great man theory that we did. So here traits refers to the personal characteristics of an individual, and this approach stresses on the fact that a person is a successful leader due to his traits and the qualities. So if a person has good traits and good qualities, then a person can be a successful leader. Okay, and a study was conducted in which successful leaders were selected. Various qualities traits were highlighted which made a successful leader. So what did they do is they studied some successful leaders, then identified their qualities, and what they noticed was that various traits and qualities were the same in the successful leaders, and that is why they were highlighted, which made them a good leader. Now these traits are divided into innate and acquirable traits. Now let's see. So now innate traits are there. So these traits are there in an individual since birth. Okay. So these are there since birth and they cannot be acquired. And these include physical features, intelligence. Okay. So they all are included in innate traits. Now comes the acquirable traits. So acquirable traits are that can be acquired by an individual through the environment, through training, through the social community that they live in. Okay, they are acquired and developed in an individual over a period of time. And yes, as I told you, training also plays a great role in acquiring certain traits. So what are these traits? Communication skills. So there are often classes for improving communication skills, right? So communication skills can also be improved and acquired. Then social skills, technical skills. So there are various trainings and different things like learn Excel, learn Python, learn Java, and whatever programs that are there, right? So these can be acquired. So that is why these are acquirable traits. Emotional stability, motivating skills, objectivity, empathy. Okay, and what are the limitations of this theory? That traits cannot be generalized for being a successful leader. Okay, so we cannot say that a successful leader has these just these 3 traits or these 5 traits or these 6 traits. There can be some other traits also, there can be some other unique traits also which can make a successful leader. So that is why we cannot make a generalization or we cannot make a rule that ye wali traits agar present hai then only a person is a successful leader, right? Now it is difficult to measure the existence of traits. That is true. We cannot, how can we know that इसमें क्या क्या trait है? ठीक है? We can get to know some of the traits, but everything we cannot know, right? Okay. Now next. Now comes the behavioral theories. Now in trait theories, we were reading about characteristics and traits that make a successful leader. Right? Now behavioral theories are somewhat different, right? So what behavioral theory says are that leaders are made, not born, and the behavior and the action of the leaders was focused. So here what is the focus is on behavior. From the name only you can see that if they are behavioral theories, then the focus would be on behavior. If they are trait theories, then the focus would obviously be on traits, right? So this theory supports the fact that a person can be trained to become a leader through teaching and observation, right? So we observe things, right? If we are taught some things, then obviously we can be trained to become a good leader. And the most important theories under this behavioral theories are the Ohio State studies, the Michigan studies, okay, and the managerial grid. So what I've seen the trend is in the NET exam, so mostly questions are asked related to behavioral theories, okay, contingency theories, situational leadership theory. So you should know them on tips, okay? So I would be making you study all these theories, and today, yes, we would be studying this Ohio State, Michigan, and managerial grid. So study managerial grid very properly. So as I told you, Ohio State, Michigan, and managerial. Now let's start with Ohio studies. So Ohio State study. So first of all, who's associated with it? M. Stockdale initiated various researches on leadership. And a questionnaire called the Leadership Behavior Description Questionnaire was developed to be surveyed in military and industrial setups. See, these are theories of history, you can say, right? So mostly leadership, motivation, everything was being studied in industrial setups, okay? MNCs were not that prevalent at that time, and military setups, okay? So here what you need to remember is that a questionnaire called leader behavior description questionnaire was developed, and subordinates were asked about their perception related to the behavior of their leaders. Okay, for example, if I am the leader and you are my subordinates, then you would be given questionnaires, okay, and would be asked that what is your perception related to me as a leader, right? So there were two categories of behavior identified from the findings of the research, and these two categories, do remember them. So these two categories were consideration, initiating structure. So here consideration, first of all, you just remember the keyword consideration is people oriented behavior, and initiating structure is task oriented behavior. So here if it's people oriented behavior, then the leader's focus here was on to build up good relationship with their subordinates, okay, and they had mutual respect for their ideas and were supportive and friendly. So in consideration, people oriented, so they used to support people, their ideas, okay, and the leaders used to support the subordinates. And here initiating structure, so here the leaders were majorly focused upon the achievement of goals, that the subordinates should follow the schedules and do the work properly in a structured way, okay, and they see subordinates as resources and make optimum utilization of them. So here the focus was on optimum utilization because they needed more and more production. That is why it's a task oriented behavior. Okay. So this is Ohio State studies. Now comes the University of Michigan studies. Now just remember, Rennes Likert was associated with University of Michigan studies. Okay, and here it is also based on how leaders behavior is related to group performance. And here you need to remember these two findings of the research, or you can say these two styles were identified, that is job centered leadership and employee centered leadership. Okay, so here again you can see the job centered leadership would be which is focused on tasks, structure, okay, completion of tasks. And here employee centered leadership is focused on the employees, understanding them, recognizing their ideas, right? So this is University of Michigan studies. Okay, now comes the managerial grid. Okay, so who has given it is also called Blake and Newton's grid. Okay, so Robert Blake and Jane Newton have given the managerial grid. So this grid has 81 possible combinations, and you need to remember the important ones, okay, which are the main features of this theory. I would teach you. So here first of all you should know the two dimensions that are there: concern for people and concern for results. So concern for people is the degree to which a leader considers team members' needs, interests and area of personal development when deciding how best to complete a task. So here people is the focus. And here results or productivity is the focus. So this is the degree to which a leader emphasizes concrete objectives, organizational efficiency and high productivity. So here productivity is the focus and here people is the focus. Okay. So here you need to see high and low. Okay, then I told you concern for tasks, that is concern for production. Here concern for relationship is concern for people. Okay, and yes, you need to remember these 9 9 1 9 1 1 every 5 5, okay, and 9 1. So first of all 1 9, so 1 9 is country club management, which has high concern for relationships but very low concern for tasks. Okay, that is why it is 1 9. So why 1 9? So for task very low concern and for relationships very high concern. That is why the person is also called the leader who has very high concern for relationships and low concern for tasks. Okay, he's also called a country club management leader. Then is the team management leader. So here both are high. See, concern for task is also high and concern for relationship is also high, and it is the most desired form. It is the most desired leadership style. Okay, so he's called a team management leader. Okay, then here is a 9.1 authority compliance management, or it is also called task management. Okay, so it is two names, task management, authority compliance management. So see here it is 9.1, so that means this is 9 because the leader's concern for task is very high, and then 1 because the leader's concern for people is, or concern for relationship is very low. So that is why it's 9.1. Okay, then comes impoverished management leader, 1.1. So the concern for relationships is also very low. That is why 1, and again 1. So the concern for tasks or the production is also very low. Okay. Then the last comes the middle of the road management, 5.5. So it is like, what is there? Ki it is the middle of the road is the one. See, I'll tell you. So they try to create a balance between both concern for people and concern for production. So I'll discuss middle of the road one more time. So let's start with this. Okay, so indifferent or impoverished leader, that was 1.1. So what I told you, minimal concern for people and minimal concern for production. So that is why 1.1. Then country club or accommodating, 1.9. Okay, you need to remember these 1.9, 1.1. Okay, they can be asked and match the following in the exam. So country club, they have very high concern for people. Okay, but they do not have much concern for production. What they assume is, they assume that if employees are given such an environment that they stay motivated, they give best results. Okay, now next. Now comes the middle of the road, 5.5. So they balance between the needs of the staff and management. They dedicate minimal efforts towards facilitating the achievements of the staff or the production, result in average or below average levels. So they try to balance between both. So as a result, what happens is that the results are average or below average. Okay, so this is middle of the road or status quo. Then is task management or authority compliance, that is 9.1. So they have high concern for production. So basically these leaders are highly concerned about production, and they assume that efficiency can only be achieved through discipline and are least concerned for employees. Okay, and then last is the team management leader, that is 9.9. Okay, and this is the most effective style according to Blake and Newton. And these leaders will contribute and are committed and can motivated and are motivated while holding the belief that trust, respect, commitment and employee empowerment are essential for fostering a team environment. Okay, so see, they are both concerned for productivity and they are concerned for employees as well. So just remember this. So this is team management and the code is 9.9. So that's it for today. Okay, like, share and subscribe to my channel, and also follow my Telegram page, okay, where I post every detail related to my videos. Okay, thank you.